Welcome back, gals, to the Pageant Gal podcast. And I have a secret that I have been keeping from all of you for the most part. If you follow me on Instagram at the Pageant Gal, you would know this, but I am competing in another pageant. Kel Surprise, is anybody really shocked? I hope that you're not, because if you know me, you know that one thing I always say is that I'm never done. And I don't trust a pageant gal who says that she's ever done or retired because you're never really done or retired. And most of you who say that you are, you liars. And one thing about me is that I'm not going to lie to you. I'm always going to be investing in my growth and in my goals. And in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing more about how I choose the system that I want to compete in and how I go about helping my clients pick the right system for you, for your goals, and for what you want to achieve. And let me tell you, sometimes this is half the battle. I cannot tell you how many times clients have come to me already signed up for a system that they genuinely want to win. And I'm looking at that system and I'm looking at that client and I'm just letting them know honestly, like, this is going to be an uphill battle. I don't think anybody is incapable of winning any system, but if your goal is to truly win and you're aligning yourself with systems that don't totally match your brand, match your resources, match your current level of preparation, of impact, of performance, you are going to have to work a lot harder to win that system. But at the same time, not everybody's goal is to win. And then we go about the approach in a different way. And so much of where I personally choose to compete and how I've been able to win 5 pageant titles over the last 8 to 9 years isn't just, oh, I go for the crown, I go for the win every time. Half of the battle of being successful in pageantry and actually winning really starts with choosing the right system that actually aligns with you. And so, yes, your gal is competing, and I'm kind of giving you a little behind the scenes glimpse so that you can know and look at these 3 things when it comes to making your own decision for where you can compete and being very realistic with yourself about what you want to achieve. And I can't wait to share where we're all going to be going. So if you're not following on the Pageant Gal Instagram, you better be for all of those details. But let's actually go into what it takes to decide where you're going to compete. And the first thing that you have to look at, which I've already alluded to, is what is your actual goal? I want you to think, when it comes to that competition, what is the biggest thing that you want to achieve if you're being honest with yourself? And it's okay to say, I just want to compete for the experience and I'm not really here to win this one. That is okay. That might put you in a whole other ballpark of competitions than if your goal was to win. But I don't even want to just start with, do you want to win or not? Let's assume that the next pageant you compete in, you are going to win. What experience or what goals and achievements do you want to have happen with that title? So I want you to think, next pageant you sign up for, you're going to win. What do you want that win? What do you want that reign to look like? Now, of course, I have to preface 99% of pageants in the world that most of you who are listening to this, that you're going to compete for and win, you are going to have full opportunity, full control of what you do with that title. Most pageants are not like the big 5 that we see where you're going to have a full schedule for travel and appearances and budget and all of this. Most pageants you compete for and win, you're going to have to make up the year. You're going to have to decide what you want to do. This is what I teach in my Leave Your Legacy program. This is what I teach to all of my clients because your director is responsible for putting on a pageant. They're not responsible for you having the year that you want to have. That's for you to decide. And we decide that even before we pick the system. So, do you want to travel? Now, again, keeping in mind, you can travel with any title realistically, but what titles will actually have those connections and opportunities, right? If you're going for a local pageant, but you want to travel internationally, it just doesn't really make sense. Like, you're going to have to find a lot more of those opportunities for yourself. Do you want a pageant that focuses more on community service and fundraising? Do you want one that's going to expand your visibility and network? One where you can earn scholarships? One where you can just generally, reign and make the appearances that you want? One that has a big sisterhood and support system that you can have a community of other women around you? Again, most systems are not going to do this for you. A lot of systems do give really incredible prize packages and experiences, but it's still up to you to set what you want that year to look like for yourself. And this is how you can decide what type of system you want to compete for. Because realistically, a lot of women who will tell me things like, oh, I want to earn money and make scholarships from pageants, I'm like, that's great. You have like two systems to choose from realistically when we think about America, right? There's not 100 systems offering a bunch of scholarships where the amount of the scholarship that you would get would far outweigh the amount of expenses you're going to put in. Okay. So we have to be realistic. Now, I will say also, pageants aren't always great at showcasing the opportunities that you're going to get with the prize package, with the system. But rule of thumb is that you have to decide what you want to achieve with it. Do you want to travel across the country? Do you want to get certain connections? Do you want to win a pageant that will send you to another pageant? These are all really important things to think about even before you sign your contract, even before you send in an entry fee of where you want to go. And this is also where we see a lot of hiccups happening with title holders who are getting themselves involved with systems that they didn't really know what that title entailed. And then they're upset at the system, they're resentful of the year because they weren't actually aligning themselves with a system that connects with what they actually wanted to do. So, what are your goals for winning? And what systems would actually allow you to have that goal? And I've given you several examples here. Take some time and write this out. This is huge. Now that we've thought about your goal, right? Is it to win? Is it to travel? Is it to do this or that? And again, you have to think, what system does that actually align with? What have past title holders got to do? The second thing that I like to look at, right? There are three things that we look at when selecting systems that are going to help us be successful for our pageant goals. The second thing is the experience you want to have. Now, understandably, 90% of women who compete in a pageant are not going to win. There's only going to be one winner. Everyone else is going to be quote unquote losers or non-winners. Everybody's a winner, everybody's a queen in my world, but you get what I'm saying. But for the pageant that you're going for, what do you actually want that experience to look like during competition and leading up to competition? Are you wanting to invest in something that is a week or 2 weeks long? Are you looking to just go to something that is a weekend that you can experience pageantry, but not necessarily have to take a week or two off of work to travel? Do you want a pageant that is going to prioritize sponsorships and social media? Let's talk about the experience that you're actually going to enjoy. A lot of women are signing up for pageants and then they're like, oh, well, this was just rehearsals. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what most pageants are. If you're looking for one that's going to provide a really great time, you're going to have to go to a different type of system. Or do you want to join one of the bigger, more high caliber Miss Universe, Miss International type of systems that are really going to challenge you to step up your game, to step up your pageant prep? Like even just the thought of signing up for these types of pageants makes you want to wake up 30 minutes earlier to get your workout and to work on your walk. That's why I joined Miss World Canada back in, it was 2020 when I competed. I did want to win, but I really wanted something that would make me a better competitor. And I knew that wasn't going to happen going to smaller systems. So I focused on going to a big 5 system. And I did. I became an insane competitor. I fundraised thousands of dollars. I had dozens of sponsors. I had so many eyes on me just because I was willing to compete there. That really launched me to win the next national pageant I competed for and the next international, my first international pageant. So are you looking for something that's about the fun and sisterhood? Are you looking for something that's more about the momentum and energy? Are you wanting something that's really going to transform your life just by competing? Or are you wanting something a little bit lower risk that you can show up for a weekend, put your best foot forward, and be able to win, lose, but go home to what might be next? Another really important thing to think about is what are the obligations after winning, the experience after winning too? Put this in whichever category you want, especially when it comes to non-compete. Does the system have a non-compete clause for that year? And that's really important to know because I'll have clients. I one time had a client one-on-one sign up with me and she said, I want to win both of these pageants. And I said, that's awesome. You can't. I was like, those pageants don't want you to win both. Why would a national system want you to be the national title holder for another competing system? Right? You have to think about what is your obligation to the system. And it's not anybody's fault. Some people just don't know, right? The pageant industry is very vague. It's very gray. There's no like one dictionary or rule book that we all follow. It is like all over the place. But this is where using resources like this and having a conversation with a coach. I actually had a client hire me for a session to decide where she was going to compete. And I was like, this is a smart girl right here. She's not wasting all her money trying to just figure it out on her own. She's going to go to an expert. And we walked her through this process. And through that, now she's training to go to nationals. Okay. The third thing that we look at. So, first, we look at your goals, what you want to accomplish. And I always say no limits. Like, think no limits of what you want to accomplish. Then we look at the actual pageant experience at the pageant and your time leading up. What do you want that to look like? Do you want it to be more fun, hustle, energy? Do you want it to be like go with the flow? Like they don't look at your socials. You don't need to get sponsors. It's a little bit more lax. You can have fun. Is it personality based? What experience do you want to have? The last thing that I look at when I think about the experience or when I think about choosing the best place to go for your goals is what is your competitive joy? This is so simple. Most women, might think that this is common or common knowledge, but what areas of competition do you like competing for? Do you love interview? Are you obsessed with being on the runway? Do you want something that's going to allow you to speak more? I can't tell you how many women do not have strong runway. Like they love runway. They love it. I get it. We all love working on our runway. But then they don't actually have a strong runway. But then their goal is to win the pageant. But the pageant that they're going to win or that they're wanting to win, 60% of their score is runway. And it's like, okay, I get that you love runway. But if your goal is to win, we either need to step up your runway in preparation or we need to choose a system that's going to have like 50% less of your score is runway, right? So this isn't about you can't compete somewhere if you're not good at something, right? That's not what it's about, but it's about being realistic. Okay, if you want to compete for a pageant that's a month away, but your interview is all over the place in shambles, you're rambling, you're stuttering, and you really want to win, hey, maybe we're not looking at winning this next pageant. Maybe we're looking at next year, or maybe we're planning 6 to 12 months out so we can actually get you the preparation that you can win with. So the whole idea is that you're not here to just fit yourself into the mold of any system, right? You're not here to be a circle fitting yourself into square holes. Imagine the pageant systems are the squares. You can try to do that, but I found that it just takes so much more work versus if you're someone who is aligning yourself with systems that naturally fit and suit you and what you are good at, you're going to have a lot easier of a time being successful. This is where I say when I won my international title with Royal International Miss, that was a very smart move on my part. I almost didn't compete in the role model title. It was actually my coach who said, Maria, you are so community service dominant. You are so good with your speaking. Like you have everything it takes to be this title holder. And it's another chance to be an international title holder. Had I not entered that competition, I might not be an international title holder. Why? Because my other option was to compete in the divisional title, which I did make top 15. I might have made top 5, but my runway just wasn't as strong. I might not have been in that highest scoring spot. Now, could I have stuck to my guns and said, nope, I want to win the divisional title. I want to win something with runway. I might still be competing and trying to win an international title to this day. So you see what I'm saying? Know what you love to compete in and know, are you trying to fit yourself into a system that might just take a little bit more work, right? I'm not saying that you can't win, but what's actually going to suit you and what areas of competition are you going to enjoy? Another great example is you will not ever see me competing in a pageant that has talent. You won't see me doing that. A talent that's required, or if it's optional, you likely won't see me doing that because that is not my specialty. Okay? And this is what I was thinking about choosing this next competition. I actually, when I passed on my title of Ms. Regional Canada, I wasn't thinking about competing again. I was really just thinking about my business, my life, and what I wanted next. And it wasn't until a friend of mine opened my mind to the opportunity of competing again for a different reason, a different why, right? It always starts with your goals. It starts with your why. Then when I started thinking about my why and my goal for competing again, I started thinking about the experience I wanted to have at the competition and leading up, and how immediately it started to fuel me. Like it's June 2nd right now, but all of May, I started to have more passion, more discipline. I started showing up as if I was going to be competing again. And then when I thought about my competitive joy and starting to practice my interview and my runway and everything that would be required, I started to feel more joy in my life and my day. It almost didn't even matter the competition itself. I don't even know what we're being scored on right now. But the whole idea is that it had to start with, why do I want to compete? And then it was, what do I want to get out of the experience? Then it was, what do I want my experience leading up to that competition to look like? Because this is how much effort I put into picking systems. So if you're wondering how Marie is able to win 5 titles and how my clients are able to win the titles that they go for, it's because we're very intentional about the systems that we select. And this is a really real conversation about choosing a system that's going to match your energy, your goals, and your brand. Because when the fit of the system is right, the crown truly feels even better. And for some of you that are disappointed year after year, that maybe you're competing and not winning, that might be a sign, that might be evidence that we need to choose a different system for you. Sometimes it's not always that way, but sometimes it is, right? Picking the system that's going to work best for you. And that is what we help you do. So, for those of you that are ready and you're already on your journey to the crown, whether it's in 2025, in 2026, or beyond, whenever you're listening to this, I invite you into our the most amazing programs that we have, which are the Make It Rain membership. This is my monthly pageant prep membership where you get weekly actions and accountability trainings in our Telegram group. You get new monthly actions and challenges because I'm always creating things so that you are learning the most up-to-date information when it comes to all aspects of pageant preparation and personal development. You get access to the most incredible community of queens to ask questions to support you every step of the way. There are women who have been in this membership since we opened it years ago, and women who are in it beyond their title, because for them, learning and being a queen isn't just about the competition, isn't just about picking the system that they want to go into. It's learning and growing every single day so that when they win, when they compete, they don't even need the crown. They already feel like a queen. And that is what we do in Make It Rain. So I will drop the details in the show notes below. And if you're ready for more personalized coaching support, where if you are looking for someone to support you in what pageant you're going to compete for, we've done this before with several of our clients in the Queen Collective. This is my pageant prep mastermind. You can join for 3, 6, or 12 months where we have weekly coaching calls, a much smaller, close-knit, intimate group of women to get personalized feedback and support on who are going to national, international titles. And more importantly, you're really taking the next steps to elevate your leadership, your brand, your impact on the journey to your pageant title. You want to join the Queen Collective, and that is an application-based program that will also be linked below. You can send in your application and I will reach out to you if it is a fit to have you in. And trust me when I say we would love to have you in. These are the best pageant spaces that you won't find anywhere else in the industry or on the internet. So again, gals, remember this saying, when the system is the right fit for you, the crown feels so much better. Choose the right system that is going to help you win and feel like a queen naturally, not something that's going to force you to have to change and be something completely different in order to win. You're already a queen. Find the system that will value and score you accordingly. Okay? Save this episode, share it with a friend if this was helpful, and I cannot wait to see you in our next episode of the Pageant Gal podcast.